I've been in the property game for 20 odd years. We've built super homes in the States, Portugal, and all over the UK. But I've gone back into the development trenches with my 100 unit challenge. We are 3 months or the first quarter into the challenge. Today, we're going to talk about the first 3 deals that we've gotten over the line in the 100 unit challenge. We'll talk about how we find the deals, how we tie up the deals, and how we actually make a profit. The first 2 deals we did were what's called option agreements. What I did was I found a site where there was potential to add value. Say, for example, this one we've got here that we've done down in Tadworth and Surrey. We agreed with the owner a certain price to buy a section of the land for a certain period of time. Now that period of time is 3 years, which means that we have 3 years to add value to that site. So this one down here is a very large plot in an otherwise densely residential area, but it has a very large garden. This is the house, and this is the existing land that belongs to that house. Now we have cordoned off this site because we think that is the excess for what is needed to that house, and this area provides opportunity to do something else. So what we've done is we've carved that land out, and you can see it here in greater detail with the tree markings on. So here's the neighboring house over here. Here's the main house up here at the top. And this is the new site area that we're trying to create value on. And here you can see the exact house that we're looking to build. That house will probably be worth between 1.2 and 1.5 million. At the moment, that land is probably worth 150 to 200,000. So also down south in Reigate and Banstead, we have another option agreement tied up. This is not the clearest picture that you can see, but here you can see this is the outline of the plot on a very nice road down in Reigate. At the moment, there's a house here, right in the middle on this large plot. What we've agreed here with the landowner is this will be docked down, and we plan to get permission to build a new house here at the back where the existing owners will remain. So they'll have an access going up like this, and they will retain this portion of land. So what we've agreed the price for is actually, at the end of the day, to buy this whole section of land. And what we're going to do is that we are going to go for planning for 2 beautiful big houses here at the front. This deal, we are within a hair's breadth of exchange and contracts on it. This is a mixed-use building in a market town outside Newbury. This asset is yielding at 10%. That means that the rental income coming in every year equates to 10% of the property's value. Now that's very important because if you look at what borrowing costs are, at the moment they're around 7% for deals like this. But if it's 10%, that means you've got a 3% positive yield where you're yielding above that, which means there's a surplus of capital coming in. We have 3 main strategies on this site. The first is that we want to obtain planning permission for 3 more apartments on the existing flat roof sections of the site. So you can see here, this is a flat roof area, this is a flat roof area, and this is a flat roof area. We believe that we can reconfigure those apartments to actually double the amount of the apartments. Secondly, we believe that in the loft space, which we have here, we can lift the ridge about a meter and get a whole nother row of apartments in the loft space. So that's another 2 to 3 apartments up there. Third, at the back of the site here, there is lapsed planning for a block of apartments, and we believe that we can actually resurrect that. So then you've got another 4 unit block of apartments at the back there, each worth about 250. So that's £1 million in increased value. We have to build it, of course, but that's what we're good at. We would add about 10 apartments over the next 5 years. At some point in the future, we would then look at an overall scheme to knock it down and build something much, much larger, much more controversial in terms of planning, but time is on our side because the yield is there. So in total, those 3 deals, we have got 18 units. The whole point of these deals is that you have to find out what is it that works for the seller. Now, an option agreement is a fantastic way for anybody to get started because it's got a very, very low barrier to entry cost-wise. You agree with the landowner the right to buy that land or a section of that land for a certain price for a certain amount of time. The option agreement price is £1. So what you're doing is you're paying £1 for the right to add value to the site. To get an option agreement over the line, all you need are the lawyers, which is a couple of £1,000s. The hard graft and the smart work in this is getting the option agreement signed and getting the landowner on board. In the UK, we've got nowhere near enough houses. There are so many large sites which are just unused. There's so much potential on these large sites. You have to be creative. You have to see where you can add value, how you can appease the sellers. You know, what is it that they want? In this case, the seller loved living there. They didn't want to leave, but they were getting a bit older. They didn't want the responsibility of the huge site. They wanted to unlock some of the potential and the value that they had in their site. It's always about opportunity and negotiation. What opportunity can you spot for value increase and how can you make it happen. I mentioned earlier that I would tell you exactly how we find these deals. I've also said in previous videos that half the skill and development is the acquisition. Go straight to the vendor. For all these 3 deals, we did a direct letter campaign. Essentially, we survey, and then when you look at the site, oh, that's got a particularly large site, you think, oh, does it have access? Does it have any particular planning restrictions? And all in all, do you think there's an opportunity on that site? You then go to land registry, you obtain the ownership data, and you write them a letter. This letter is key. You know, this is the first touch point that you send to somebody. A lot of people don't realize the potential that they have on their land. So when someone like us comes along and says, look, we believe that we can add X value to your site through our expertise in planning. This means that we'll be able to pay you more for your site than it's worth. Is that of interest to you? Yes, it is. So let's do it. So that's a snapshot of the 3 deals that we're most progressed with in the 100 unit challenge. Of course, there is a lot more in play at the moment. We're looking at properties in Deal and in Hungerford and in North London. All of this I'm going to share on my YouTube channel and in my monthly newsletter. So if you're interested in looking to do your first deals or build your portfolio or do different types of deals, come along and follow on the journey. So subscribe to the newsletter. You can also follow along on the YouTube, and I'll see you soon.